Ati kumekucha Chris amesema nini? Ati somebody gave us a hint as to who Baba's running mate is. Kweli? But wenyewe me I see Martha Karua has it. They'll not be able to remove her from there. Ile noise inaendelea, it's definitely Martha Karua. Others will say it is definitely Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Lazima ni yeye. So what is this kumekucha Chris telling us? Now patience, tuliza boli. Even as you speculate, even as you analyze, it is very important that you understand. Many times, I have started research, very determined to do a video on a certain topic. But then in the course of my research, I have realized I don't understand this thing. Or I don't understand this thing well enough to make others understand it. And therefore I've never done that video. Yeah, strict rule. That is what I always do. And therefore I recommend the same for you. Please try to understand before you make your political stand. I know politics is very exciting. I know right now people get very emotional with their favorite candidate. Yeah. But I believe you'll be wasting your time unless you make an effort to understand. David Murathe has recently given us a very big hint. In my opinion, he has even pointed out to the person who Baba will choose. Because he told us that this decision was made last month, in March. What happened in March? Stay with me and find out precisely what happened in March that is terribly relevant to what we're being told, and therefore points us to the shocking choice Baba will make for a running mate. Karibu sana and thoroughly enjoy yourselves. David Murathe's recent tweet has caused quite a storm in Twitter. Yeah. And I tried to read through the thread at the various comments. And I was more than a little disappointed. It seems that a vast majority of us completely missed what Murathe was trying to tell us. In my opinion, David Murathe, a very close ally and advisor of the president, dropped a huge hint as to who Raila Odinga's choice for running mate is, and most of us missed it. Now, without sounding arrogant, I'm just puzzled. I'm mystified. I don't understand why Kenyans who are trying to read our politics cannot do a very simple thing. And that is, whenever somebody talks, whenever somebody tweets, the first question you must ask yourself is, who is this? Who are they politically? Who are they linked to? And what is happening a lot on our political scene. Who is telling them what to say? For example, when some certain people talk in Deputy President William Samoei Ruto's camp, you should know for sure this is Ruto talking. For sure. No guesswork. It is so easy to read. Now with Baba it's a bit more complicated. Because of the way he plays his cards, usually very close to his chest. And he only shares information on a need-to-know basis. Okay? Of course, this stems from very long experience of what can go wrong in politics and with their well-laid political plans. This is why when the name Polycarp Igathe suddenly stormed into the Nairobi gubernatorial race, it took most Kenyans, including politicians, completely by surprise. We never received any whiff, any rumor, any inkling that this former running mate of Mike Sonko, when Mike Sonko ran for the Nairobi gubernatorial seat in 2017, would reemerge, would come back into our lives politically. Nobody ever guessed that. Yeah, courtesy of the fact that Raila usually plays his cards very close to his chest. And when people speak, it is difficult to know whether Raila Odinga is speaking. Indeed, in most instances, Raila Odinga does his own speaking for himself. And those around him can only guess what is on his mind as they try to speak his mind. Yeah, that's really the reality. And this Igathe issue is a perfect example of why it is a good idea to play your cards close to your chest. Because look at the reaction. People have completely forgotten that Azimio-One Umoja, is a coalition of many political parties, but really two main political parties, Jubilee and ODM. I refuse to be dragged into a discussion about Wiper. Let me just leave it at that. Three-legged stool ni yako. Kwenda ununue uweke kwa bedroom. No, I'm serious. Although I'm laughing. And while I'm there, let me just drop one quick, huge hint. At the moment, you can see there is a very big push for Martha Karua to be Baba's running mate. At the moment, you can also see there is a very big push for Kalonzo Musyoka to be Baba's running mate. Now, this is the perfect environment of coming up with a running mate that is none of the above. Yeah, I hope you get me. Because if you have one person whom everybody is rooting for, then you have a problem. As a candidate, you may need to change your mind to avoid a political fallout. But when people are screaming left, right, and center with different choices, then it is very easy. In fact, you'll appease those people who are campaigning. Because this side, which did not want the other people to be appointed Baba's running mate, will have a consolation of at least it was not the other guys. Yeah, and vice versa. Anyway, let me not go off topic. Yeah, although that was important. When David Murathe speaks, you can call him a drunkard. You can say anything you want. You can say anavuta ile sigara kubwa. You can say anything. But the truth is, when David Murathe speaks, of course, to be able to understand why this is a fact, you will need to understand intimately the history that David Murathe has with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Yeah, but then most Kenyans find history boring, irrelevant. Yeah, hence, they will never be able to read that. Most Kenyans. Now, before we go to the prediction, that in my mind has confirmed who Baba's choice for running mate is, let's look at the second part of the tweet, which was hilarious in my view. Murathe says that if you're in Kenya and you want to be Baba's running mate, a decision that has already been made, then his strong suggestion is that you go independent and run for the presidency. This is really what he's saying. Now, this is a very well thought out tweet, and you're about to see why. Murathe says, if you're in Kenya. What that means, because we also know that Martha Karua also wants to be Baba's running mate. But you see, currently, Martha Karua is not in Kenya. She's in the United States. Yeah, the Baba. Okay? So it is not Martha Karua. So who else wants to be Baba's running mate? And then Kenya. You guessed it. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. He was telling this man in clear language that he is wasting his time. And that if he is so desperate to be Baba's running mate, because he believes he has so much clout, he has such a large following in the country called Kenya, he carries the most weight, more than all the other contenders, then why doesn't he just go independent and run directly for the presidency and force a runoff? Yeah, that's really what Murathe is telling Musyoka. This is where Murathe is criticizing the media, telling them that they are now into pata potea news and analysis. Yeah, pata potea is gambling. Yeah, they're just doing guesswork. Because to date, ask yourself a simple question. In all these media reports on how good, how strong Kalonzo Musyoka is, how Azimio will be making a huge blunder if they don't select him as Baba's running mate, nobody has stopped to address a very simple issue. And it is this. It's a question. What Kalonzo Musyoka handlers are telling us about his popularity, is it true? Is there any evidence we can look at to prove that it is true? William Samoei Ruto has great sway and influence in Kalenjin Rift Valley. And we have solid evidence to prove that. Yeah, the UDA nominations, where every politician wanted the UDA ticket. Not only that, if William Ruto decides today to hold a meeting in Eldoret or anywhere else in Kalenjin Rift Valley, he will receive a rousing welcome. It will be a huge rally. He'll attract many people on the spot, and they'll all be cheering him on. Can you say the same about Kalonzo Musyoka going to Ukambani today? Seriously, Kenyan media, even if you're doing a news story, a little research is useful. Yeah, because it is in the public domain. That there was this small MCA seat in Machakos town where Kalonzo was campaigning from door to door, but his candidate lost. Does that sound to you like somebody with influence amongst the Kamba nation? In my opinion, a journalist would add much more value to their story, yeah, if they did a little research. And for instance, this example I've just given you, they slot it in there, yeah, so that anybody reading the story can start to ask themselves a question. Yes, this journalist is quoting from handlers of Kalonzo Musyoka, but this journalist is also giving us this other thing which happened. Yeah. So are the handlers of Kalonzo Musyoka telling us the truth and nothing but the truth? Or is this just politics and people trying to position themselves? And let nobody start telling me that I don't like Kalonzo Musyoka. Let us just speak facts and the truth. Even this story of a three-legged stool would suggest that the Wiper Party is on par with the Jubilee Party. It is on par with ODM. Is that true? Hey, no, I'm not going to tell you. Just answer it for yourself. Do you think that is true? Really? Is it? Anyway, let's come back to this prediction. Yeah, I'm sure that's what everybody's waiting for. Now, Murathe told us this decision on who Baba's running mate will be was made last month. That would be March, because we're in April. Now, what happened in March? We know that in March, we did not have this Kalonzo Musyoka push to be Baba's running mate. It had not started the way it is now. We also know that the Martha Karua factor was also not in play. So what really happened in March that should be relevant here? Now I'm going to play a clip from an earlier video I did. Just listen in, because it gives you the answer in black and white. Listen in. I'll be back shortly. Towards the end of March, Lee Kinyanjui made a move many Kenyans missed. He left his political party, Ubuntu People Forum, and rejoined the Jubilee Party, Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party. On the surface of things, this doesn't make sense, because Ubuntu People's Forum is also in Azimio. Put yourself in His Excellency Kinyanjui's shoes for a minute. You are the incumbent governor. You're going for re-election. Why do you need to cross over to a party where there's already a crowded field to run for governor on the Jubilee ticket? Why do you need to cross over and face the risk of being eliminated in the nomination stage? Does that make sense to you? Why not just stick with Ubuntu People's Forum? Because after all, it's within Azimio. It's one of the parties in Azimio. Okay? Now let us speculate a little. That is allowed in analysis. Many times speculations end up being the truth. Admittedly, at other times, it remains just that. But humor me, let us speculate. But speculation based on experience and solid facts on the ground. Now, one of the reasons why somebody would do this is if there's a deal in place. They are approached, wanaitwa kando, by the Azimio High Command, and they're told, we want to do 1, 2, 3. So you need to move into Jubilee. Because this thing will not work if you're in Ubuntu. Okay? Now the next question is, what would not work in Ubuntu that can work in Jubilee? This will shock some of you. But many of you are my regulars. And many of you who follow me on our Telegram forum will already know where I'm going with this. Now, it is in the public domain, everybody should know, that because the presidential candidate of Azimio comes from the ODM party, one of the major partners in Azimio, the deputy president will come from which party? Yes, you're correct. Jubilee. And we know you cannot be the governor of a certain county in Kenya and at the same time deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. That can't happen. So let me just leave that speculation there. Simmering. Okay? I'll come back to it in a later video. Now, let me give you further evidence. Now, the Azimio movement, if I can call it that, has one key principle they believe in. Simply put, they want to bring all Kenyans together. And we have seen this in action. The Azimio High Command has gone out of its way to give an opportunity to every politician you can think of to join the Azimio train. Of course, some have declined, but they were given an opportunity. Now, this being given an opportunity completely ignores what has happened in the past. It completely ignores and puts aside emotions. Because let us be honest, if you know the history between Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. If Raila Odinga was to put in emotions, he would have nothing to do with Kalonzo Musyoka. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you peruse my earlier videos. Just go to my channel and do a search, Kalonzo Musyoka. Yeah, and then you'll realize the many instances of betrayals, yeah, where Kalonzo Musyoka stabbed Raila in the back. They're not one or two, there are many. Okay? Now, what better way of bringing Kenyans together? What better way of continuing to be consistent, yeah, in this agenda than to offer the Rift Valley an opportunity to come into Azimio? And a big opportunity at that, not a small one. Because we all know that the Rift Valley has a presidential candidate in the upcoming elections. Yeah, and therefore, one of the few ways that you can hope to have an impact is by having a running mate from the Rift Valley. Okay? Selecting that candidate from the Kalenjin Rift Valley will not have such a huge impact. Yeah? But what if there was a candidate who is both a Kikuyu and a Kalenjin and holds sway, yeah, has some supporters who are from the house of Mumbi, and he has other supporters, strong, fanatical supporters, who are from the Kalenjin community? Perfect. Yeah, and I'm sure you get my drift. Now, many people are fond of comparing Kalonzo Musyoka to Raila Odinga, which in my opinion is ridiculous. Those two politicians are very different. And one main difference is that one of those politicians, yeah, uses emotions a lot in their decisions and in their decision making. The other one completely ignores emotion or emotions. Let me give you a very clear example. When Kalonzo Musyoka and his wiper outfit joined the Azimio coalition, one of the demands they had was a strange one. And this is in the public domain. They demanded that Governor Kivutha Kibwana of Makueni, yeah, should not be anywhere near a campaign platform where Kalonzo is. In other words, huyu mtu sitaki kumwona, mweke mbali sana na mimi. Now, isn't that emotional? We know that Kivutha Kibwana has been one of the harshest critics of Kalonzo Musyoka. Yeah? And here's another hint, yeah, for those who still believe Kalonzo Musyoka is popular in Ukambani. How did Kivutha Kibwana manage to get re-elected as governor of Makueni? Kamba votes, Kamba Nation votes. And yet everybody knew that Kivutha Kibwana is the harshest critic ever of Kalonzo Musyoka. Why did those people re-elect Kivutha Kibwana, yeah, if Kalonzo Musyoka is so influential amongst the Kamba Nation? Tafakari hayo. Anyway, that demand by Kalonzo Musyoka is pure emotion. It doesn't like the man. Why? Because the man is one of his harshest critics. He's always criticizing. So he's taking it personally. He doesn't like him. And indeed we have seen that Kivutha Kibwana, and he's even told us, has decided to take a back seat as far as Azimio La Umoja campaigns are concerned. Yeah? And the only reason is Kalonzo Musyoka. Now there's a Swahili saying, hilarious in my view, which I want to paraphrase. A monkey does not see the color of its own behind when it's laughing very loudly at the color of the behind of another monkey. Yes. Now this describes this situation perfectly. Because Kalonzo Musyoka has done a lot of nasty things to Raila Odinga. Why didn't Raila Odinga say to his Azimio colleagues, I don't want to see Kalonzo Musyoka anywhere near Azimio? The things that man has done to me, no. I don't want to see him anywhere near the Azimio campaigns. Why didn't Raila do that? Raila and Kalonzo are very different politicians. You know, you'll excuse me, but I don't know any other way of analyzing politics, other than the way where I first of all seek to understand. That is what I always mean when I say I will not make a video until I have my ducks in a row. I want to understand first before I can even attempt to do an analysis. Most Kenyans don't want to understand anything, before they make a wild allegation or a wild analysis, on Twitter or somewhere. So and so will get 10 million votes. Pop! You just pick that from there. Now that's not analysis. That's not intelligent. I'm sorry. Even if you end up being wrong, make sure you understand what you're trying to analyze. I have no fear of getting it wrong, because I learned a long time ago that when I make a prediction on this channel and it doesn't pan out, they are one of several things that would have happened, including the fact that things are very fluid in politics. For example, something could happen tomorrow that could force Raila Odinga back on the drawing boards about his running mate. I will not feel ashamed. I will not say, I was wrong. I will not be scared. No. Why? Because I understood. And what I said was based on what I understood, which was based on the political situation at the time I made that analysis. Therefore, I'm covered. My analysis will stand the test of time. Even if one particular thing, or even if a main thing did not pan out, there'll always be an explanation. Because this is not about being right all the time, in my opinion. It is about understanding and bringing understanding in your analysis. That's what I consider to be most important, critical in fact. For example, the 2007-2008 clashes are increasingly coming into the news. And as we draw closer to August 9th, my prediction is that it will take center stage. It will be up there, amongst the major top issues presented to Kenyans about the decision they have to make on August 9th. And yet many of us still do not understand what the clash is all about. We don't understand where they came from. So how is it possible, going forward, to be able to analyze the situation, analyze how the Mount Kenya voters will react when this thing takes center stage? How is that possible when you don't even understand what the clash is all about? And by the way, there's a perfect opportunity for you to understand through a book I wrote at the time. In fact, many parts of the book I penned when the clashes were actually unfolding. This book is called Let the Blood Flow. And it's very easy. You can order it. We have a special offer, which is supposed to have ended. So rush. Can be pulled down anytime. You can see details on your screens right now. And the huge advantage here is that you can also win yourself 1 year free subscription to my weekly intelligence briefings, where I've started releasing a lot of bombshells linked to the upcoming elections. Highly sensitive stuff, which I cannot carry on this public channel. So that's just a quick reminder. It is very important to understand. It doesn't matter if you end up getting it wrong, but at least you understood. And after you get it wrong, it is very easy to understand why people change their minds, or why people may have changed their minds. Now, in another very recent tweet by David Murathe, he has told us, part of the tweet tells us, we should expect a very big announcement. And it doesn't specify what kind of announcement. Now, my gut feeling tells me that that big announcement is something that will shock Kenyans. And it is something to do with Baba's running mate. Okay? Now, those who follow this channel and those who trust me will not be surprised. It will not be a big announcement for them. And even more important, when this announcement is made, they will understand. When many Kenyans will be scrambling to try and understand, they will already understand. Yeah, and I'm not bragging. It is my job. Yeah, it's not my job to waste your time here on this channel, telling you my theories picked from the air, telling you gibberish. No, I respect you and I value your time. And therefore, before I put up anything on this channel, I'll always make sure that I thoroughly research it. And even more important, that I totally understand it. So that I'll be in a position to help us all understand it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.